Awesome.
And we've got a link.
Oh, wow. All right. There we go. All right. Well, hello, everybody. I am Jeremy.
I'm Kara.
And I am behind all the technology, and I'm Brownie.
We are so glad you guys are here for our Forcefest Star Wars panel. We are going to be talking about Lego and Star Wars today, but just a little bit about us. We have two YouTube channels, Rise of the Podcast and Brickable. We started Rise of the Podcast after the Star Wars celebration last year because of how much fun we had. And it's just kind of evolved and changed over to we love Star Wars and Legos too, and we do all sorts of fun builds and time lapses and stop motion with Legos and specifically Star Wars Legos as our
on our second channel, Brickable.
Second channel, Brickable.
Right.
So as part of Forcefest here today, the main goal, we're actually trying to do some fundraising and for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It is an absolutely awesome foundation, and any donations made through the Get Vocal system, they will match 30%.
That's awesome. That's a big deal.
That is awesome.
Totally is.
So if you feel so inclined, just feel free to donate and to a good cause.
Yeah,
so
your dollar will go way further this way. So it's really awesome that they're doing that match. So
yeah, you can spend your money on Legos, but I think Make-A-Wish is a way better choice. Then somebody else, a child, could play with Legos. So. All right. Well, so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a little bit of a history of where Star Wars and Legos first met and then how that's kind of changed over the course of the years. There's some really cool things to know about that stuff. And then towards the end, we're going to talk about how you can use Legos and cameras and with just basic equipment, make your own stop motion and time-lapse stuff.
You don't need anything fancy to make a time-lapse, that's for sure.
Yeah, not at all.
We go overboard.
Well, there's a joke, Chris. We'll crack at the end about there's level 1 we'll talk about, level 2, and then if you really want to be
just be absurd, I can show you what's going on here.
So in the description of the panel, Lego was having a hard time in the late 90s. People were not buying or getting their sets nearly as much to the point where they were worried about staying afloat.
Yeah, there's a lot of contributing factors.
So some of the things that were happening is Legos came out and became really popular in the 80s and early 90s, but there was some competition that also came out around the same time. Video games.
Bum, bum, bum.
Super Nintendo, other types of stuff like that, and started to kind of kids were growing up, and they had all this new competition. I mean,
Jonathan said they had some really lame themes back then too. What are the three cornerstones of Lego prior to this?
So there was the space cornerstone, pirate or castle, and then city. Yep, those were the three things. So the cool thing about Star Wars and Lego coming together is Star Wars was the first official licensed Lego set. Yeah. That was their venture into
licensing intellectual property.
And so they actually approached George Lucas and said, hey, we want to start making scenes from your new movies as Lego kits for kids to play with.
Yeah, because what was the other thing that was like becoming a huge deal? The fact that the prequel trilogy was kicking off in the late 90s. In 99, it would have come out.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they saw an opportunity.
So they wanted to make these movies. So George Lucas happens to know a thing about licensing.
Just a little bit.
If you don't, just look into George Lucas's brilliant strategy behind Star Wars.
And so he recommended to them to start with, not with the prequels, but make stuff from the old films. And that way, when parents are walking through their store and their kids are asking to get Legos, the parents will have something that they recognize and have an association with.
Mm-hmm.
So the very first Star Wars Lego set was an X-Wing.
Classic.
A classic, and it was one of the most popular sets when that line launched. So they started with the X-Wing, and now think about that. You're walking through the store, your kid's asking for Legos, and it's like, oh, hey, that's an X-Wing.
That's part of my childhood.
That's part of my childhood. And now
what a great bonding moment.
That's something that you can do together. And so it took off. And once that base was established with Legos being super popular, it was paved the way for the Phantom Menace sets to be extremely popular.
Which were only released about a month after the original trilogy released. The original trilogy, oh my gosh, I can talk.
Original prequel.
The original trilogy sets released October of 99. Phantom Menace sets released November of 99.
Okay. That's awesome.
So I'm just sharing. So Kara, talk about what two things were the first for Lego with the prequel kits?
For the prequel kits?
Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, so I was like, what are you talking
Oh, he's talking about like groundbreaking Lego technology.
Yeah, so previous to the Phantom Menace sets coming out, the only shaped head that you would have is that typical little cylinder shape.
Yeah, the standard Lego head.
Yep, just the standard Lego head. Once Phantom Menace came out, they came out with a Jar Jar Binks sculpted head. So that was the first like custom style head that you could get. The other thing that came out was the short legs. Because Yoda's short, obviously they're not going to make him as tall as everybody else. So they made the little short legs, which kind of continued on for other characters like, you know, the child Lego characters, Jawas, stuff like that. So
links being all shared out.
I'm just sharing to our other pages quick.
So while Jeremy's doing that, we'll say again, take a moment, make a donation to Make-A-Wish, get Vocal Match up to 30% of your donation. It'll really make a big difference.
Jen, that's awesome.
Jonathan says his uncle has one of the original X-Wings, and it has some great features.
Oh my gosh.
That would be so cool.
There's Lego has never not paid attention to detail.
Right.
Oh my gosh, right?
No, the detail is impeccable. Behind us, we actually have the UCS Star Destroyer. Not super easy to see.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
rotate your
say.
chair, I think people can see.
I think Jeremy's right in the way.
Yeah, we didn't have anywhere else to put it, so it just lives on set with us.
Yeah.
But the attention to detail. So back to the prequel sets. So with the prequel set, so the prequel came out, and then that opened the door for Star Wars and Legos. That opened the door for Legos to get other licensing. So the next big one after that was Harry Potter, and Harry Potter ran from 2001 to 2012-ish. So
basically about the same run as the film's about.
So about the same run as the
Right.
films, exactly. During that time, Lego started licensing Indiana Jones. Marvel and DC came in late, like 2012, 2015, late to the game compared to the movie releases.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is Star Wars is the only license that has not been interrupted since 1999.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the OGs.
They're the
They're
OGs.
still
Well,
there.
They've always had something to go off of. They had the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. They had the Clone Wars. They had Rebels. They had, you know, the new series.
Yeah,
They have everything.
Mandalorian.
The
Kenobi's
Mandalorian.
coming up soon. I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah. What do you think I thought when I first saw The Mandalorian? I was like, please make these some Lego sets.
Oh, yeah, guaranteed. And you know what was going to happen. I'm just going to get to a couple comments here. Jennifer says her dad has one of the original Jar Jar heads. That's
see? There
that's
we go.
a collector's. That's a piece of history.
That is
Well,
the
okay.
first non-custom head.
The first custom
The
head.
first custom head.
Here's what's also fun about that. So I was telling Jeremy this earlier. When they first made the sculpted head, there was no painted detail on it. The body was painted with his outfit, but the original painted head had no like eyes painted on. It was just like
texture. Yeah.
right. And it was the same with the original Sebulba, Paplu, and what was the other one? Yoda.
Oh, you're digging deep. I don't know.
Right.
Kara's digging deep in her Star Wars minifig.
Just trying.
Yeah, Jonathan just says that his eyes look so weird because there's no paint.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just a bump there.
He also says Lego Adventures was super cool because it was Indiana Jones Lego before they got the license. I remember just drooling over Lego Adventures sets.
Mm-hmm.
They're so cool. So here's where I'm kicking myself. For one of my birthdays one year, I got one of the original Millennium Falcon sets, and I do not have it. And I got a Naboo Starfighter. And those are like dispersed. I remember the little yellow antennas to make the wing engine mounts.
Do you
and
sell the
everything.
pieces?
No.
Like-
I grew out of Legos for a little while until
You realized it was cool to keep liking them. Just
until it
kidding.
was cool to keep liking them. But so all right. So we talked about how Lego or Star Wars has been the longest running license, and it ends in 2022. So in just 2 years. And I'm sure
Well,
it's gonna,
if it doesn't get re-upped, I'd be very surprised.
2023 comes the new trilogy, so there's going to continue. Kenobi's coming out. The next season of Mandalorian. There's going to be more stuff for them to build Legos off of.
Lego is going to have to write a big check to keep this
Yeah.
license because it's their most popular one. It also spawned the collector series line as well.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things, let's just backtrack a little bit. One of the things that doesn't get mentioned is, so in the 90s, so in addition to not having very interesting sets, like Lego was like raising their price and like changing the way that they're doing their designs. So we're getting more complicated and more expensive and not as interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So then like they were at this crisis, this crossroads where Star Wars really bailed them out because they could make big complicated sets if they wanted to, but it actually meant something to the people that wanted to buy them. So they pay that little bit more of a premium price point to get a bigger kit that's more complicated, but it's a Star Wars kit.
So they were willing to invest their time into these more complicated builds, and they were able to grab that attention to detail. So I think that's the next point we should probably talk about. What makes Star Wars and Lego such an excellent pairing?
Oh, absolutely.
So Chris and I had a great conversation just earlier about why. And for me, we talked about like parents recognizing that like iconic X-Wing when Legos came out. And if you think about it, as a kid, like you were saying, Chris, who hasn't been playing with like an action figure or something as a kid and then taken the story like, oh, I'm gonna capture you,
yeah, exactly,
Ewok or whatever, right?
Yeah, the whole point of toys is to explore a world that's inside of your own head, whether or not it's a combination of a world that exists from somebody else or something brand new where you're taking this character from that world and putting it into yours. Either way, it's all about storytelling, right. And that's what Star Wars at the end of the day is just a great story.
Absolutely.
Right. It's got characters that you care about in situations that are perilous, really cool environments and awesome ships, and just like it's visually appealing and the story makes you feel good at the end of it.
So like the Jabba the Hutt Palace, right? There's multiple parts to that kit when it came out. And if you bought all of the kits, they all work together and merge together, and you could build this big, Jabba's palace. And think about that. It's like you're expanding your universe with each different set you get. You can really immerse yourself in this great environment that George Lucas built, right? And so I love the thing you said too, Chris. He's like, if I had like the bounty hunters, like I bought the Bosk kit, I've got like the Bosk speeder bike. What would my ship look like if I was a bounty hunter in the Star Wars universe? You've got the tools to build yourself right into the universe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you don't need to play with the kit as intended. You can mix it around, or you can grab pieces that you have and build your ship into the thing and be like, oh, now we're competing to see who's going to get Han first or whatever. So.
Absolutely. And so you guys are reading the comments and I was like,
yeah, sorry.
What's going on?
I'm still paying attention.
So you put yourself in that universe, right? And I think that's what makes Lego and Star Wars, the bond, just so amazing, is because you're just so able to immerse yourself in the
Star Wars is so big. Like, if you think about it, it's an entire galaxy.
Absolutely.
Right? So and even like with all the media that's already been out, we've barely scratched the surface of what the potential of all the different stories that could be told are, right?
Absolutely.
And the more they do and the more characters they add, the more opportunity there is for interaction between what your imagination is of this world and what it means to you and what the actual world is and how you want to play with that. And it's just like so cool. And then not to mention like just like mixing stuff up where it's like I'm going to grab my Old West guys and bring them over to Pirate Land or whatever, right? So it's like there's like infinite like capability of like taking the story that you love and then adding more on your own.
I think the Lego movie did a really good job of the mixing the sets and stuff that.
Absolutely.
Like the Millennium Falcon coming in and Batman stealing the hyperdrive out of the Millennium Falcon. And they get eaten by the worm when they go to punch. I mean, it's just really funny moments, So there's a whole bunch of cool Star Wars facts and sets and stuff, Kara, we can talk about. Should we talk about some of the things that have also become of some of the other
so we talked about what sort of led up to them joining together and that they've joined forces now successfully for basically 2 decades. But it's not just Lego kits. There's so much more.
So here's a huge one that was always something super exciting for me. You've got something like this.
Give her a 90-degree turn there.
Oh, there we go. Star Wars and the Lego video games. Now here I have The Force Awakens, but I remember as a kid getting the first Star Wars Lego game and how awesome that was. There was like a cantina and you could go see episode 4, episode 5, episode 6. It was robust. Each movie had 6 levels to it.
Yeah. They turned that into a mobile game, which I play on my phone.
That's what you do with all your time.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I'm going to hold you up just for a second. I'm going to get some comments here.
Awesome.
They're coming in faster than I was anticipating. So all the troop, we're getting even more. Oh my goodness. All right.
People are excited about Star Wars, and I see Skywalker Saga popped up.
Yeah, the Skywalker Saga Lego video game is going to be awesome. So let's not lose the irony that video games almost killed Lego.
Right.
And now they're like one of the most anticipated video games to come out. So that's... Yeah. And in a similar way, the way that the Lego video games work, now I'm just going on a side tangent, the way the Lego video games work is a lot like the way that you play with your Legos.
Absolutely.
It's just like mixing and mashing stuff together. You're recreating the thing, but it's a little bit different. It's like, it's so great.
Their humor and content is on point. Their cutscenes are so good. Yeah. And then the way that I was saying you too, you know how many times I cannot find that last mini kit in a Lego Star Wars logo. And I search, and I've got even like the kit finder on and everything, and you see the blinking arrow, and it's like the puzzles are advanced, even for
we're 30 years old and
yeah.
we can't solve these puzzles.
And it's just really fun. And then it's the epitome of the perfect multiplayer game.
Oh yeah, Jeremy and I play all the Lego games together. They're fun.
Yeah. Also, they've got to put. David just commented saying that he loves the Lego games and he's just getting his daughters into them.
Oh,
so
yes.
now, so the Lego kits were like the first bridge between generations. The original Star Wars fans, and then the people that were going to come up with the prequel trilogy. And now we've gotten to the point where it's like we have the original Star Wars Lego game fans bridging the gap down to their kids with the newest one coming out.
Yep.
It's like all these, both Star Wars and Lego, they just bring families together.
It's so awesome. The Lego games just nail it perfectly. And
yeah, True Jedi. I don't know if I ever got True Jedi on too much, Jim. Yeah. I got close, but not there.
I definitely got True Jedi, but that is because...
But only when I was helping them.
Oh, yeah. But the games are really fun. And so besides the games, there's a whole TV series that's been spawned called Lego The Freemaker series. It's on Disney+.
Which they made actual minifigs of those for Lego.
Yeah, there's kits and stuff for those. Mm-hmm. There's tons and tons of books. We have a book just right here. Actually, I'll ruin Kara's display. This is an awesome book that covers the history of Lego. I highly recommend picking it up. You can look for your favorite character, and it'll tell you all the sets at which they appear. So here's some Rebel characters. Yeah. I'll see if I can find Kenobi.
Oh, there's General Grievous. Hi, Grievous.
Awesome kit. You see the Jawas.
There's this Bulba, and Watto was the other
One. Watto is one of my
one.
favorite characters. It changed my mind.
Credits won't work on me. Only money. Trying to find the Kenobi one. Because Kenobi had like 100 sets. Actually, I can just let I'll let Kara run the book while we go back to it. But we got books, and then these new set of kits. We have some new kits over here on the side.
Here's what you do: you go to the index.
Oh, see, Kara knows how books work.
I don't. So,
well, do you want to talk a little bit about mocks, Jeremy?
Okay.
We're talking, talking about building in your own universe.
So earlier we were talking about like maybe what your ship would look like if you were to be a bounty hunter, right? Well, there is a whole section of Star Wars devoted, or a whole section of Lego to mocks.
All right, we'll take a quick pause on that.
Okay. So this is the Kenobi page.
So this is
so many Kenobis.
It's so many Kenobis.
So what I loved is this one. So if you've seen Clone Wars,
here, I'll bring it up there.
Yeah, bring it up there. If you've seen Clone Wars, there's an episode where Kenobi, he swallows this voice box and like this pill, and he converts himself into this bounty hunter. And so I was actually shocked to see that this was a minifig.
That blew my mind when you told me about that earlier.
It's one episode, and they made him into that. I thought that was super cool.
So getting back into mocks.
Back into mocks. So if you love Legos and you want to get a certain kit, right? You search for it. Hopefully the kit's not retired. Like this just came out. Because when kits retire, they go for tremendous amounts of money. But there's something that you probably want to see in Lego form that might not be created by Lego. There is a whole community out there devoted to making these mocks. Mock stands for my own creation. So one that we built, we absolutely love from the Jedi Fallen Order video game is, no, this is not our design. This was an awesome creator online. He created a BD-1 out of Legos, and he made the plans available, a parts list. You can order the parts list. Look at how good this looks. It looks just like something Lego would have made.
It's outrageous how cool that is.
It's unbelievable. It's just, he's the most iconic part of Fallen Order, in my opinion.
So I love BD-1.
What's the main character's name?
Cal.
Oh, dang it. I was hoping you would remember so you could just back up your point.
Oh, yeah. But I know BD-1. But an awesome thing. So there's Lego lightsabers that people have created.
People are exploding on that BD-1. BD-1 is dope.
Yes.
So if I could get you the link to the plans, but if you Google search BD-1 mock, it should come up. Because the plans are awesome. And all in all, to order all the pieces for that kit was around $60 to $70. So it's
something you really, would pay for something this size anyways.
Really not out of line compared to other Star Wars creations. And so at the Star Wars Celebration last year, the other thing people do is they combine all of these sets, right? Mix of mocks and Lego actual creations into giant scenes, giant scenarios, dioramas, right? So people love the UCS Falcon. people have recreated the Death Star hangar out of Lego to make the UCS Falcon fit into, and it's breathtaking. They'll have 30 stormtroopers lined up in formation in the hangar. They'll have the Falcon parked there, Palpatine out there. Just these beautiful scenes. And there's conventions you can go to and see some of these amazing works. Somebody recreated the Death Star trench run. Absolutely awesome to see.
The amount of creativity afforded by the Lego system and people's imaginations combined just blows my mind sometimes.
Seriously.
I combine a couple of bricks together and think I made something awesome, and then I log onto the internet, I see BD1, it's like, oh, well, okay, never mind.
Well, there's two types of people: the people that get encouraged by seeing that, and the people that get discouraged by seeing that. You should always feel encouraged by people's creativity.
I think I do. I try to be encouraged.
But here's the thing, too. Have you actually sat on stud.io and actually made something besides going into your spare Lego box and putting two pieces
That's actually
together?
something that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So for you out there who can't afford Legos or don't have access to, like, I know everyone wants the Bespin Cloud City set and it's only like available in the US. There is two great tools out there where you can play with Legos, but just in a virtual environment.
All right, so somebody is correcting us. It's Lego and not Legos. So sorry, we fall into the colloquialism. We understand that it's Lego, not Legos. I'm sorry.
And Lego is the plural for, you've corrected me on that before too, Chris.
Yeah.
I
think it just carried on from our childhood. Mom, where's my Legos?
Yeah. So we do apologize if we say it. We don't mean any disrespect.
No.
But the Lego brick system is
the official name for it. So here's where it's awesome. If you want to play with Lego in a virtual environment, I highly recommend there's two programs. One is made by Lego, and that is it's just their Lego Studio. But as far as I can tell, that is discontinued or no longer supported. You can still get the old copy of it, but you can't import any new bricks or anything into it. Bricklink is a piece-by-piece Lego building website where you can order things if you want to do your own mock. And they
owned by Lego.
Now owned by Lego, exactly. They bought them. They have made a program called Stud.io Studio. And there is a great platform you can use. You can import any brick in, and you can make whatever you want in a virtual environment, and then render it out when you're done as if it was a photograph of that kit. And depending on how you build it in Studio, you can also add directions as you go.
That's cool.
So you can if you create a creation, you can give out instructions and a part list.
Yeah.
I've been working on my own mock, and the direction part, I'm not quite there yet.
That's hard.
If I trusted between the two of you who would make better instructions, I'd absolutely think that Kara would be capable of generating instructions.
Kara is the go-to as well, for my bet, anyways. So when you sit back and take a look at everything that they've done between the books, video games, creations, the inspiration that Lego's done, people take to run with, actual build sets. And what I like is Lego is constantly pushing the envelope forward, and they're trying new things. This is a new thing that just came out. They're doing these Lego busts. You've got Boba Fett here. They've got a TIE fighter pilot. They've got a stormtrooper. These are awesome. This is still reaching out to that adult figure who wants to buy this, put it on display on their mantelpiece.
They're moving into Marvel with the helmets too.
Yeah, so collecting helmets has always been kind of a thing, like prop helmets or like stuff like that. And I think this is a cool hybrid between you still get to play with Lego, but you also get a display helmet when you're done.
Right.
And it's not obnoxiously big. Like if it were life size, it'd be cool, but it'd probably be like a $400 kit.
It's not the Star Destroyer.
So
that is obnoxiously big. It is hard to deal with. It is crazy.
Yeah, so something like that, it's a perfect shelf piece. I was talking when we were doing the build on that. It's like you should get two and make it bookends.
Oh yes, I know they would be awesome as bookends. So talk about collecting. One big aspect to Legos is minifigs. Lego, sorry, Kara. One big aspect to Lego is their minifigs. And so Kara and I each brought one of our favorite minifigs. This Kara got for me, not knowing that it would be desirable someday. She got me Thrawn. And Kara got Ahsoka. So the original Ahsoka, the Snips and the Fulcrum minifigs are ridiculous. This Fulcrum minifig can sell for $60 secondhand, and they just released
there's tons of ripoffs out there too.
Tons of ripoffs.
Yeah.
So Lego will always be stamped like in their little feet and in certain various places.
And as far as Ahsokas go, I know we're a part of the Bantha Bricks Facebook page, and people have asked if their Ahsoka is legit. And if you look inside her headpiece, just as a gee whiz. If you look inside her headpiece, I don't know if anybody will actually be able to see that, but it says Lego down in the connector piece.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I don't know if that came through, but you know where to look now.
Yeah, you know where to look.
Yep.
So with all of the Lego that
Jonathan says it's cheaper to buy the Fulcrum set and resell the rest of it than buy her individually.
That is
Well,
so
here's
true.
the sucky thing. The one that Ahsoka comes in, people will buy that set,
Right.
take Ahsoka out, and then just sell the set.
Well,
Right.
that's
So you
what
have to
you're
pay
saying to do,
attention
yeah.
and
Yeah.
see it.
Make sure it says with or without minifig.
Yeah.
Yeah, with or without minifigs.
Just speaking of minifigs in general, so like Lego minifigs are just awesome. Like for how few parts there are, there's so much customization.
Absolutely.
But then on top of that, like you talk about people that have like action figures or dolls or whatever you want to call them growing up.
Action figures, Chris.
Well, but just depending on however you want to classify it, but like having a character like that comes with like a preloaded backstory, or modifying the character, making your own character, whatever. It's just another part of that storytelling process. And the Lego minifigs are they're so cool and awesome on their own, and they're robust and like they're posable enough to do the actions that you want to do with them. And then and you can get them physically inside a set. Having a G.I. Joe, it was almost impossible to get them inside of anything.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but it's like you can actually have them in the vehicles and driving around and doing whatever. So it's like the potential, because of the scale of the Lego minifig, is outrageous.
The AT-AT here has room to put 6 or 5 minifigs
6.
inside.
Oh yeah, they're just we just kind of threw them in there when we were done.
Yeah, right. True. Yeah, true to the movie, right? And then inside, you can also have 3 people inside the head of the AT as well, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, weird tangent, but it's just the minifigs are easily 50% of the coolness.
And I'm
of
sorry,
Lego.
seeing this made me. It was something I read actually in the Lego book here.
They've been deployed. Somebody wrote. They flew out of there.
So these guys, when they originally made them, the reference picture they had looked like they were wearing white outfits. So they were originally going to make them white. They found another reference picture and realized their costumes are gray. So the only reason these guys are gray is because they found a true reference picture.
That's interesting.
Kara, do you want to take us into the Han Solo Hoth colors then?
Oh, that's the other
You'll like
thing.
this on a filmmaking aspect.
Yeah.
So Han Solo in the movie in Empire Strikes Back, his jacket looks blue, right? So his jacket was actually brown.
I never knew. I always thought it was blue.
Yep. I think everybody did. And so Lego went and they made 2 different Hans. One that was true to the actual color of his costume and one that was blue. And the reason it was blue was because of how like cold and icy it was in Norway. And so the lighting
color cast.
color
that
cast
makes
made it
sense.
blue.
Yeah, made it blue.
So Lego, being awesome, like I said, made the brown one to be true to costume and a blue one to be true to on-screen
That's
visuals.
awesome. Jonathan says that originally they wore stormtrooper helmets with AT-ST designs on them too.
Oh.
So
Oh, that's awesome.
interesting.
That's super cool. So minifigs are just a big portion of Lego. It is the carrot on the icing or on the cake. Whenever I see a new set come out, it's like
Carrot on the cake. My favorite expression.
Jeremy likes to make new expressions.
Yeah.
We found this out.
So when a new set comes out, I'm always excited to see what minifigs come with it.
Yeah, then there's some minifigs. It's like that's why you buy the set,
Absolutely.
100% like
So for the
which speaks to the strength of the character that you're like. So because the droid tank is cool,
Mhm.
but it's not nearly as cool as the Ahsoka minifig.
Right. I
Right.
wouldn't have
oh,
been running
somebody
out.
commented the frigate with the fulcrum and it goes for $375 on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Is
that's
that
what I'm saying.
with or without Ahsoka?
That would be probably be with
That
Ahsoka.
has to
I
be.
think
With.
so.
It's
Okay.
probably $25 without it.
That's why it's like just even having like this version of Fulcrum is or this version of Ahsoka is really cool to have at least. But yeah, as new sets come out, I'm always excited to see which minifig they're going to come with. Let's see which some sets have been some of my favorite. Unfortunately, everyone's mad at the Star Destroyer. I am too. You get 2 minifigs for a $600 kit. 2.
It should come with like 50 TIE fighters.
I know.
Please.
I totally agree. But the UCS Falcon comes with some awesome minifigs. It comes with all of the Empire Strikes Back heroes and the Force Awakens heroes. So you get Rey, Finn, Han.
Oh, cool.
And then satellite dishes, you can make it Empire Strike Back or make it from the new one.
I gave you that one for your birthday a few years back.
Which one?
The Millennium Falcon.
Not that. You gave me the
yeah.
non-UCS version.
The non-UCS.
That was just it came with veteran, like old man Han.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and old Chewie, where he was injured.
I can't imagine old Chewie looks any different than young Chewie.
He's just angrier.
He's just angry.
Or
As
colder. He's colder.
You're cold.
You're cold. Let's see here. Over 1,000 different Lego Star Wars minifigs are available, and I know, and
Isn't
I want
that
them
insane?
all. I want them all.
There's
coolest.
a completionist task for you.
Well, like if you look at the book here, you can see where it breaks off from minifigs into other things. This entire section has like 10 plus minifigs on each individual page.
That's outrageous.
You know, I mean, and this book is like 3 years old, so there's a ton of new
minifigs
out there.
Do you want to talk about the most expensive Star Wars minifig?
Yeah. So the most expensive Star Wars minifig that you were able to purchase, it was in one of the mystery bags. It was a gold chrome plated C-3PO.
Like 14 karat gold, or
I think it was gold, gold.
And so there was only 1 in 10,000 made. And so the chances of you actually getting it was very slim, but it now sells for $1,500.
Dang, okay.
Isn't that great for a minifig? Not a set now, just a fig.
Okay, now get this. This was on Guinness Book of World Records. So,
an authority on records.
Right. During San Diego Comic-Con 2010 and Star Wars Celebration 2010, they did a drawing that you could enter where you could get a set of Boba Fett figures. One was gold, solid gold, one was solid silver, and then one was plastic. That's
a big drop off.
The solid gold Boba Fett goes for about $11,500.
Dang.
That is an unfathomable amount of money.
Don't lose that in your Sarlacc pit.
Well, can you imagine? There's got to be one, right? Somebody opened it, didn't realize what they had, or do you think the person knew? Because like the kid, what if he just unattended opens up his mystery pack he gets the gold Boba and just plays with it?
Well, it wasn't a packet. It was a giveaway.
Got it. Never mind.
And I take it back. But the thing is, it did come in a pack. Like it was a cardboard, like piece.
Package, yeah.
Yeah, and then each of the Boba Fetts were like vacuum packed onto that. It would be really nice, not as janky as I mean that sound.
You don't need to defend it. It's fine.
But yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it just speaks to the strength of the like people love Boba Fett, right? So like Star Wars has all these amazing characters, and then you get to play with them in minifig form, or collect them in minifig form, or make outrageous amounts of money on the secondary market in minifig form.
I'm a collector. So just at like a kind of like a halfway point here, I just want to drop a line again back just to if you're feeling so led to do so. Remember, we're trying to raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Awesome organization. So that maybe somebody out there could maybe want a trip to Legoland or something and go there. Speaking of Legoland, it is one of the fastest growing amusement parks that there is. So
that's awesome.
They keep growing and keep doing really well.
They can keep building on it, guys.
Oh,
boy. Well, thanks for watching. We're going to end this.
Yeah. I expect that joke from myself, not from Kara. So one of the fun things to do is I'm going to just talk about for a second is, let's see here. Oh, Legoland is awesome. I have not gone. We only went to Disneyland for the first time last
year.
July.
We were thinking about maybe making a detour to Legoland, but it wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, it was a little too far away and a little bit expensive once you buy a Disneyland ticket.
Yeah.
Because that's expensive,
plenty of money.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Expensive, but awesome. So definitely, Jacob, I wish I could go to Legoland. Hopefully when some of this COVID stuff blows over, I said the bad word. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah.
We can go to Legoland too. So that's the one thing that I miss. But one of the fun things people like to do is there's another part of the community that comes down to either like time lapsing or stop motion. Those are the two big video things that people do. So I am going to throw a plug out to. There's no relation. I only really enjoy this content. Brotherhood Workshop on YouTube makes some of the funniest stop motion videos I have ever seen. They are absolutely hilarious.
And technically impeccable from a production standpoint. They're incredible.
Unreal. I highly recommend checking them out. If you've Yes, I saw the time lapse of the snow and the storm.
Time lapsing snow is hard.
It is.
I bet just a little bit more backstory on us. Before we started doing our YouTube stuff, I used to go out and do time lapses all the time. And one of the things, like just getting a good time lapse of snow, is very, very hard because like you have to expose your equipment to the elements and everything, and it's like finding that balance between like something that looks cool and doesn't ruin all of your fancy equipment. So props on getting that done.
Absolutely. So with video production is Legos make a great platform for you to be able to make stuff. You can either tell a narrative, tell a story using these iconic Lego sets, or you can make awesome videos of these sets coming together, because the building process is really fun to see, and there's tons of different styles you can do. You can just straight up time lapse yourself building it. You can put a piece on, take a picture, put a piece on, take a picture. It's very intense, but the end result is really, really cool.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah.
So
we're not patient enough for that.
No, we're not. I've done a couple of things like it, but it's time consuming, but the videos come out really cool. So Brotherhood Workshop, check them out on YouTube. He's actually gotten commissioned to make videos for Lego. There's a really funny one of C-3PO and R2-D2 crashing into Tatooine, and then the Jawas try to like put the pieces back together and make like their own shuttle.
Oh yeah.
And then Obi-Wan comes in and makes a shuttle and takes off with makes a ship and just takes off with their parts. So awesome to go check him out. But stop motions are probably the easier, time lapses are probably the more easier thing to enter in as an amateur. So if you have any desire to ever make a time lapse, there's some different levels that we've kind of come up with. So before Kara, Chris, and I became together to do this in this format, Kara and I were given as a Christmas present the UCS Slave One set.
Epic set.
It's awesome.
It's epic. And we literally just took our cell phone, took a rubber band, and put it on a flexible, bendable lamp. So that it had a metal lampshade with a flexible neck.
You work with what you have.
No, exactly.
We put it on the table. I think we turned the light on to
give us some light.
To get us some light. And then, hey, thanks, somebody donated. That's awesome.
Thank you very much, Richard and Sarah.
And so we tied the phone with a rubber band and then used the light to light it. And the new iPhones, or any iPhone really for the past 5-10 years, has had a time-lapse setting. Some things to know about that. It just films an overall length, and then when you stop it, it kind of cuts it down to an appropriate amount of length for you.
Yeah, so it's not going to make it a 10-minute long thing.
It's not going to make it a 10-minute long thing, but it's a really cool thing to watch your Lego set just come together. You see all the pieces come apart, the bags open up, and then you watch it get assembled. Very fun project you can do with your kids. You set the camera up for them, let it run, and let them build, and when they're done, play it back for them. It's really, really fun.
It gives you a perspective on how much work you did over that time, too. Yeah. It's like, this is like a bunch of little itty-bitty pieces, and now it's this cool thing.
Well, after we started doing this, one of our good friends, his daughter did a time-lapse build of a Lego set she got.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we inspired somebody, which is a weird thing to think about.
There's a funny story there. They sent us the video, and we took a little while to respond back to it, because we're on the way to California.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we were on our way to
Disneyland.
The
Disneyland. That's right.
And so then the next thing you can do for probably, I'd say, the next step,
if you want to go a little bit more pro.
Go a little bit more pro, is pick up a GoPro. And GoPro has a time-lapse feature built into it. It works extremely well. It doesn't trim it. It lets you maintain a little bit more control of the settings. You can dial it in, and it's very easy to just add a second angle. And adding that second angle from like a video production side can really make your videos more dynamic and more interesting to watch. So really, with a GoPro, a cell phone, a light, you can start a YouTube channel where you just put Lego kits together.
And you don't need a fancy light. You can grab a lamp. You can grab whatever. If you want to make like a diffuser, heck, like just grab some wax paper.
That's literally what we did here.
Yeah, we got
wax paper on the lights.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of work, and you can make some awesome content.
Parchment paper, not wax paper.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. I mean, yeah.
So anyway, and then you start building sets. They come together really well. It's really fun. You can do different angles. You can do combination stuff. You can put some stuff together. And
this is a GoPro that we have lined in right now.
So for example, you could have the front angle be recording part of the build, and then you can, you're doing, and then you can cut to your top angle and then just show off different features that you would normally not get to see. And it really pops for a nice video, and they're really fun.
So yeah, just a shameless plug for ourselves. So on Breakable, if you're interested in seeing some Lego time lapses, go and check them out.
I was gonna say, if you're interested in seeing Jeremy make mistakes.
Well, so I think that's our little extra layer of special sauce. So
should we talk about that? Yeah,
I think so. So like from a production standpoint and a storytelling standpoint.
Chris, if you can figure out a way to sew the 30-second 4th of July thing.
I don't know how I would be able to pull that in.
I might have an idea.
But okay. Yeah, so like we do have some stop motion stuff on our Facebook page. Otherwise, a lot of our time lapse stuff is on Breakable. If you go to YouTube and search Breakable, that's Breakable with an I. You can look in the lower right hand corner is how it's spelled. But we'll do time lapse. It's basically like if you take like a mini review and a time lapse, and we also interject like nobody's ever built a Lego perfectly. I think from my experience, there's always a mistake.
I will come back to that.
I was going to say, do you not remember when I built my McLaren?
There was probably a mistake in there. I wish I could check the footage, but so we'll cut away. So it's like you'll see coming together, and then you get these little sort of catharsis moments where it like comes back out. It's like, oh, I completely built that upside down. Or when we were working on Major Von Reg's TIE Fighter, and Jeremy put one piece wrong, innocuous. You could be off by one stud, and then 4 bags later, it comes back to bite you in the butt, and you have to tear it all apart. And it's moments like that, like that's part of the Lego experience, and that's what we try and show with some of these things. It's like it's not always just follow the instructions and get it done right. It's like, oh boy, we really made a mistake.
They are the worst.
Oh,
yes,
the mistakes. Yes,
that is the epitome of what happens. Is you're just off by one, and it just derails the whole thing.
Yep. So it was really funny too when we started. Let's see, I'm building the resistance transport. Oh,
nice.
Oh, there you go. He's already through the thing. You are welcome to come and build with us anytime.
Oh my goodness, you're
taking after me.
You're doing well better than Jeremy, by the way.
Oh, funny. The last build we made, Jeremy made a mistake on the first minifig out of the bag.
Yeah,
it's not even out here, is it?
No, I don't think it is.
No,
he's out in the hallway. But it's an ARC Trooper that comes with a cloth that goes between the legs and the chest piece.
Yeah, the torso and leg piece. Yeah,
and I put it together. I didn't even realize that was part of the set, and it just threw me off. Way to start. But it was kind of fun how those came to be. Those time lapse speed builds that we do we went in to just record us building them.
Yeah.
But these funny moments that happen during the build, these mistakes, and what results because of it makes a really funny moment. And so, Chris, you took your editorial power and cut them in.
Unlimited editorial power.
Well, I feel so often when you watch stop motions on YouTube, nobody shows their mistakes.
Right, yeah,
it's
the
just
mistakes
like
happening.
this perfect build.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, you need a little bit of funny in there.
So some of the funny moments I have is we built a Y-Wing on the show. And as I was putting together my engine, there's 4 long
the Technics
pieces that pull the whole thing together, and then there's 2 long cylinder pieces that clip together and then clip down. So it's together and down, right? And so
you had a wrong piece.
I had a wrong piece, and as I was trying to put the last in, the whole engine exploded. I mean, Lego pieces went in.
Well, that's what he was trying to fix. So he initially put a piece that was too short in.
Oh, that's right. One of the
and then it wouldn't all put together. And he's like, "Why doesn't this work?" So he had to take it all apart. And then as he's trying to put it back together, it just disintegrated in his hands.
So that was like, whoa, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. But those funny moments sprinkled in make it for a really fun build. We built the Tanta V4, the Rebel Blockade
That was
Runner.
our first build.
That was our first Lego
build. We
we
bit off a big chunk on that first one.
How much data is generated with like the system that we have. It's pretty fun. But I highly recommend.
If you want to see our setup, I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So if you want to go to level like insanity, this is how we're recording these Lego things.
All right, Chris.
Is the gimbal actually on?
Yep, it is. And it's...
I got it balanced real good.
So if you look at where Kara's joined in here. So this is how I'm controlling the stream back here. And then we have a multi-feed angle going into it. There's our audio solution. And this is our main camera up here.
Hi guys, that's what we're looking at.
Oh, it's too bad we don't have like the slider and everything up here.
The slider's there, but it'd be hard for him to show.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously audio, the GoPro's up there.
Chords and lines everywhere. Kind of fun to see a little behind the scenes. So.
Yep, it looks good.
Oh,
yep. So yeah, that's the craziness of what we've grown to. We started off with just a comic book background and just doing these funny videos, and we just keep adding and keep adding and adding. But the core of all of that is the experience that we get when we build these Lego kits. We just want.
It's just so much fun.
It's just so much fun.
Right.
They're an absolute blast. So I'm all for. Oh yeah, that is so cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
It's like if you're passionate about something, it makes it a lot easier to decide to invest into doing it.
Absolutely.
And Lego is so much fun to play with. And sharing that experience, I think, has had a really positive impact on us.
Absolutely.
And so it's worth it to be like, well, let's find a way to have that top-down angle, or let's find a way to get better quality sound while we're doing this.
Yeah.
You know, like things to make our lives easier and make the product better.
But again, you don't need all
no, this
is by
if,
any means.
If you do this, I'm like, you better be dedicated to
a lot
doing
of it we actually had previous because Jeremy had been in photography before. Chris had been in photography
I'm a
before.
freelance video producer, so I had a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of this we already had. We didn't, have to go out and purchase. But I mean, like we said, at home, Jeremy and I were just sitting there with a cell phone and a flexible light.
Yeah, and it's just as much fun. It is just as cool to see the end result.
Like we were stoked when we saw the end result. We were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool!" Watching like all the pieces slowly disappear off the table and stuff.
Yeah,
and we're Knowlers.
Oh yeah,
setting all the pieces out.
Yeah.
So Jacob is asked what our favorite discontinued Lego themes are. I really miss the castle sets and the underwater sets.
Yeah, underwater I think is the one that I miss the most.
I just remember as a kid there was like a shark and a treasure chest, and then there was
the
gold.
shark was always so cool because like his jaw would open.
Yeah, his bottom part of the jaw, and then I was obsessed with the little gold coins that came in the treasure chest.
Yeah,
and the emerald pieces that would get mounted in places.
We're still working.
Yeah,
on
I
that.
wish we had advice to give on hanging ships from the ceiling.
As you can see, we don't have any hung here, but there is some cool display pieces, but that cost money, right? So I am in agreement with you. If you can come up with a good way to hang it from the ceiling, I know the Tantivy would be pretty easy because it's got a spot to mount.
Well, yeah, so I would imagine like structural integrity of the piece is probably the hardest thing to overcome. So if you're planning on making a display piece, you might have to bust out the Craggle.
Yeah.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, Craggle is
yeah, from the Lego movie. Yeah, so like
see, Jennifer said she loves those gold coins.
There's something about it. It's like you feel like a billionaire.
You do.
It's like mini Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, you can dive in. I don't know what it was. I just remember that was the thing I loved as a kid was just getting and just like you get one set and it comes with the treasure chest and coins, and you get another one and another one. Now I've got 3 stacks of treasure chest and Goldie's gold coins. Yeah, I just loved it. It was so iconic and so much fun.
And back to hanging the ships in the ceiling, one resource you could go to is the Bantha Bricks Lego group on Facebook. Ask them. I guarantee you somebody would have an answer for you.
Yeah, I wish that's the one thing we want to do is be able to hang some of the sets. Because I love the Lego spaceships. I love like the Millennium Falcon. I love the X-Wings, Y-Wings, A-Wing.
One of the things I think that goes underappreciated about these Starfighter kits is like they are cool from every angle.
Right.
Like it's not just something where it's like you build it and it looks good from the front or it looks good from the top. So getting them suspended in 3D in a way that you can you have that access to see is like, wow, look, every part of it is laid out in such a cool way. Like they don't skimp on the detail.
Right. Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yep.
I think one more time. So we're coming close to the end of the panel here. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to comment. We like to think that we're experts, but we know a little bit about Lego.
I would love I'm just going to be donating to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I'm trying to do it right now.
Yep. So please take the time, make a donation, get Vogel's matching 30%. It makes your dollar go further. It's absolutely worth it. Make a wish come true.
Here it comes.
Look at that. Oh, thank you, Peter.
Yeah, well, I threw one in there too. But yeah, I want to hear some favorite.
What Lego kit do you guys miss, or what was your favorite Lego kit growing up?
Absolutely. Let me know, because here's the sets I'm sad about. When I was so excited.
Actually, hold on. So what's the coolest Star Wars Lego set out right now?
The coolest one out
that you can buy right now.
I would say this one right here, the AT-AT.
Oh, Infinity Time, like so many minifigs, such a cool build.
Yeah.
You can articulate, get that baby out in the center. You can
at least affordable. I would still love the UCS Falcon. Like, that is what I want.
So
the sides open up.
So here the sides open up, the butt opens up, and out comes a snow speeder with a snow trooper minifig. And then you get 2 pilot minifigs.
And General Veers.
Minifig.
Don't forget about Luke chilling out down here.
Oh, yeah. Luke Skywalker with a thermal detonator.
With a thermal detonator in his hand. Bang for buck. This is one of the best sets out right now. And the other thing I want to talk about, there's been 2 or 3 other versions of this kit. They're all retired, and they're really expensive. $300, $400, $500 plus for an older set, and this set's a lot more affordable right now.
Someone says my dad says it's a trooper pooper.
And somebody asked,
Razor Crest comes out on Monday.
Razor Crest comes out on Monday.
You pre-ordered that,
I pre-ordered back in like February or March, and the part listing is like broken on the listing, so it says like insert minifig or insert kit picture here in my reserve email, like insert future set here. So hopefully it shows up.
So
somebody did ask where they can find our stuff again.
Yeah, so if you go into YouTube and search Brickable, that's Brick with IBLE. It's in the lower right hand corner.
That'll be all of our Lego based content.
Yep, so that's where you can find all of our speed builds and reviews. We're only going to be doing reviews on newer kits. We have some older speed builds on there as well, but so to give you a little bit more in-depth idea of how we felt about the kits and everything. Also, we do a weekly video live stream podcast on Saturday nights on YouTube, and that's youtube.com/Rise of the Podcast. And we basically try interacting with chat, same as we're doing here. We talk about Star Wars, Legos, pop culture, any type of random, crazy lifetime stuff that has sort of happened.
Oh, can we drop the link in the chat?
Is David watching by chance? David?
Oh, yep. David has our back. David, you're a legend.
Thank you. I was just about to say, I bet you if David could just share the link.
So that's our Facebook.
If
you want to drop some links to our YouTube channels there, David, we'd really appreciate
take
that.
care of it. And then I know somebody asked about stop motion. Do you dare want to try to pull that up? Would you be able to orchestrate
I'm gonna give that a try real quick here. Hopefully this doesn't break.
What we're gonna do is we have our side angle here. We'll use that for a second. And then what we're trying to do, just on a finishing note, we have a 30-second stop motion that we made for the 4th of July. Chris, it took about 9 hours to make.
You can still see us up there.
Okay. Well, it's fun. We'll use the side angle for once. I don't know. Well, here, I'll do this too. We've referenced it a lot, but I'll show off there's the Star Destroyer back there in all of its craziness. So it is awesome. So yeah, that thing is cool. I can read the chat and everything while we're here. So it's really fun. But yeah, we started the podcast to talk about Star Wars, and then we just used it as a platform to do our Lego builds.
There's a link if you want to see us do a stop motion on it's 4th of July on Tatooine.
It's really fun.
I did the voice of the Tusken Raider.
Kara did, and it was awesome. So that's some of the fun stuff that we've done. We're coming up. We've got 7 minutes. I think we'll probably go right till the end.
I think so. Yeah. If people have more questions, please stick around. They're doing a tribute to Grant Imahara in the next panel. Tremendous creator. So like we're all like people who enjoy this type of stuff are creators, right?
Absolutely.
Like we get we like a sense of calm and accomplishment out of creating things for other people or for ourselves. And I don't think anybody really embodied that as much as Grant did. From all the things that he worked with, you could tell we're sort of like passion things for him. So definitely stick around to check that out. It's going to be awesome. We lost him too soon. It was a real big bummer when the news broke that Grant was gone.
That was one of my favorite things to learn about Star Wars was how George Lucas, there wasn't the companies available for him to do the things he wanted to do. So he started ILM and he started Pixar to do the Skywalker Sound, and then
THX.
Right? So to know that Grant worked at ILM would just blew my mind. Because I always remember him from Mythbusters. I used to watch Mythbusters. I used to love Adam and Jamie and all the people on Mythbusters and Carrie and Grant. I mean, it was like that was the thing to watch.
So
It was right. You can see like the type of things I enjoy. Just tinkering.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's I guess would sum it up. So
yeah, so stick around for that. We don't want to preempt their panel by just taking all of it, but definitely stay around for that. He was awesome. But thank you everybody who's participated up to this point.
yes, thank you for all your
Yeah.
donations to
Thank
Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, and it's just a great cause.
I want to throw a shout out to say thank you to Forcefest. For letting us be a part of this. It was really fun. It was a cool thing. It's a little out of our what we normally
Wheelhouse?
do. Yeah. But we tried to adapt what we normally do and fit it into this platform, and it worked extremely well. Way better than I could have expected. It's really fun. I would have liked to. Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you,
would have been
Dan.
fun in the future. We didn't know how like grabbing seats and doing the interaction would work that way. So Get Vocal is a platform I'm interested in learning more about using in the future as well, because it's pretty fun if people can jump in and interact with us. I would have loved to.
Yeah, absolutely.
To act that, but the comments have been great. So
Yeah.
and the simulcasting feature to Facebook is pretty cool too. So
Yeah, I had not heard of it prior to this, and then once we started sort of messing around with it, it was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And then like admins from Get Vocal
Yeah,
like
we're
jumping in
our
and like, hey, so you have any problems or anything? It's like, oh no, it's like so like the platform as a whole has been incredibly like helpful.
Yay.
Oh no,
No,
Jonathan.
comments
Oh.
away. We love comments.
And, yeah, it really makes it go like people. We think we know what people sort of want to know about, but if you don't comment, we don't know what you want to hear.
yes,
Right? So it's like this is democracy in action. Your vote matters. If you want to hear us talk about something, put it in the comments.
Oh, sorry for correcting you before.
It's all good.
Hey,
No,
I think it's just like I said, it's one of those childhood thing. We called them Legos as a kid, and we know it's not Legos.
Yeah.
it's Lego. I gotta work. It's fun. I watch a guy who does Blender tutorials, and he said being able to take feedback is like the most important thing. So
oh yeah, absolutely. No, all comments are welcome and appreciated.
it's been so fun. The engagement is always my favorite part about going live. And when we started the podcast, we actually just used to do them pre-recorded, and then as soon as we went live and had that experience, it was like we got to keep doing it live. So.
Yeah, if for nothing else, the selfish reason of it's really fun.
Yeah, and if you're an audio only listener, Rise the Podcast is, if you search on iTunes, should be on any major podcast platform. It's on iTunes, it's on Spotify and Google. All the links and all the stuff, it's really easy to find us on Facebook. That stuff we post there. Every Monday, the podcast goes live on there.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So one last time at the end, I'm going to just make the pitch. Thank you guys so much for who has donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's been awesome. It's awesome to Get Vocal to come in and match those things. It's great. So again, I think it was pretty successful. I saw some donations popping up there during the video.
Yes.
And it was really good.
Thank you for
We
everyone.
do. We appreciate that.
The
a lot.
hour flew by so quickly. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's insane.
Watching us just go. Being able to talk about Legos is always fun. And when I saw that they were looking for panel submissions, I thought, well, this is such a great thing to be able to talk about, because it started with, a small thing really, and Legos has grown to such a big thing. So
Well, yeah, and they're both they've been cornerstones of our lives, basically.
Yes.
So it's so easy to talk about because they're just foundational to the people that we are.
I grew up playing Lego with my brothers all the time.
yeah, exactly. And I just remember I got a Falcon as a kid, and that Naboo Starfighter, and then now I said somebody re-sparked it for me. My mom bought me for real like a couple of years ago that UCS Slave 1, and it just flipped the switch about it's like, oh, this is so much fun to watch it come together and to be a part of it.
So yeah, Jacob, it was fun interacting with you. Ray Walker says thank you so much. Amazing work. Thank you
Thanks.
for joining in. Hopefully you learned something or at least entertained. At bare minimum, we killed an hour.
If we made you laugh, Chris laughed a number of times, so Chris had a good experience here today. But yeah, we made you laugh and just even shed a little light on some of the history of Lego. It is quite fascinating, and why Star Wars and Legos are the big things. So
Yeah, thank you guys so much again. Donate, make a wish. It'll go further with a match. Stick around for the panel about Grant, and thanks everybody for joining in.
all right. So I think Tracy, that's it. So yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching.
May Force be with you guys.
Boom, we did it.